Hey everybody, after the show video, and no, I'm not driving, my wife is. After the show video, I did Squawk Box with Kevin O'Leary talking about President Biden's proposal to gift up to $10,000 of forgiveness on student loans. And there's been some interesting discussions afterwards. My brother Roland Martin called me and talked about it. And I find it fascinating that folks keyed in on on this one piece of me comparing what's going on now to the GI Bill. How dare you, and so on and so forth, were some of the comments. No, how dare you? Do you realize that blacks fought in the World War II? I'm only talking about World War I and all the rest of that stuff. We fought in World War II. This is 1945 now, and 99% of the GI Bill benefits included free education and a mortgage for a home. Also, you realize we got none of that. I mean, like none of it. Like there was like in one city, in 13 cities in Mississippi, or 3,700 mortgages given, and like I think 2 went to blacks. In New Jersey and New York, there was 100,000, and I think 100 went to blacks. Like it was like literally just excluded, right? So and that was the birth of the white middle class in America. And so don't give me a lecture about we paid our debt for this country, and that's the gift that kept on giving from the government. No. It was uneven, and that's been going on forever. Now we're at war again, is my point. And China wants to be America. We're at an economic war, so it's not a war of bombs and bullets. And who are the soldiers of this war? The average worker. Somebody doing Uber, somebody doing a Lyft job, somebody working at a restaurant in a health pandemic, somebody delivering food to you while you're at home Zooming, watching this video, the nurses and police officers and teachers, these frontline workers, the average Americans in an economic war. 70% of this economy is consumer spending, 70. So the average person with too much money into their money is holding up the U.S. economy, the largest economy on the planet, and they get nothing for it. Nothing, zero, except increasing prices. Inflation makes it worse. Depress wages, no wealth creation to speak of. Inflation for education has gone through the roof. Listen to this now. In the last 20 years, inflation has gone up about 54%. But inflation on student loan or tuition at private universities, 3x, 3 times inflation. And at state in-school colleges, 4x, 4 times the rate of inflation, 211%. How do you keep up with that? We're not talking about giveaway programs here. We're not talking about handing out, again, sympathy. We're talking about people who are trying to better themselves. Let me tell you what you cannot have in this country. You cannot have a dumb country. You cannot have a dumb country, an uneducated country, people who have no hope. The most dangerous person is the most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. You cannot have a country with people with a high school education or less, because not only is that good for them, they can't do critical thinking. They're not going to be thoughtful. They're not going to they're not going to have any reason to hope, which means that they may be coming for your stuff. So even if you don't want to do the right thing and lift people up, you should want to do the right thing so you don't want people coming to pull you down. So I don't care what your argument is, you should be for helping people help themselves. I think because it grows GDP, because folks are going to get that $10,000 break on, and it should be targeted, I believe, because 1/3 of all student loan debt are $35,000 or less, by the way. It should be targeted to have the most impact at the bottom of the economic pyramid. What do you think they're going to do with that $10,000 break? They're going to take that $10,000 and go buy a $100,000 home with a $10,000 down payment. That helps the city government. They're now a property tax owner. It helps them become a stakeholder. It helps them build wealth. They're going to have a mortgage. It helps the bank. It helps the economy. It helps them. They're going to start a business. They're going to do something that betters themselves. Worst case scenario, they're going to put it back in the economy, which helps you. So let's knock it off and understand that we're better together. And by the way, the numbers that are proposed in this Biden package, for which I'm, by the way, not saying we should do, I'm saying it is directionally correct, that we are on each other's team, that 2 + 2 = 6 here, that we're better together. that if you understand that we're all in this thing together, it's not black or white or Republican or Democrat. My friend Kevin O'Leary was talking about this is a Republican issue. It just drives me nuts. It's why this country is so screwed up. I love Kevin, but he's wrong. We've got to be for each other. We've got to be for America. And the suggestion also in the interview that education is a private asset, and certain people are smart enough to invest in themselves, that's just disgusting to me. Public education should not be a private asset for the privileged, for the few. It should be a public good for all of us. When the education is probably the one investment the government should absolutely do. K through used to be, by the way, we already made a decision on education. It's called K through 12 public education. We made that decision in the 20th century that was a good investment for the world. And by the way, we're the largest economy in the world, probably in part because of that. We need to probably extend that to college, K through college. And don't get me started on black folks who working for free in this country for 270 years called slavery. And what did they get for that other than being held back and not being able to get access to education until the 1950s and 1960s, going back to the 1600s? I mean, an argument can be made that blacks should get education for free as a form of some partial form of saying we understand we've held you back. And as long as they contributed to society, got a meaningful job, started a business, worked for government, worked for a nonprofit, did something meaningful, they would get loan forgiveness. We need a more elegant approach to building people up. I'm a capitalist who believes that we do better when you lift more boats up to rise for themselves and help teach people how to fish at scale. That my rich friends eat my poor friends do better, if only to stay rich. We've got to have a more thoughtful and more elegant argument. This discussion this morning on Squawk Box needs to be expanded to a debate about what are we actually for as a country. And should education be invested in as a way to lift people up? If we don't do that, China's coming for us, and a bunch of other countries are coming for us that are actually educating their people and paying for it, underwriting it as a public good. And we're going to be left behind as an also-ran because we have a smaller group of educated people with higher educations and a growing group of people who are in the surviving class who have been left to their own devices because we're too selfish to be about we than just about me. John Hope Bryant, go to Operation Hope for your financial coaching session. We're free services, free financial coaching services in 46 states, 192 locations, and growing. John Hope Bryant, I'm for you. Love and light.